What's good? Brian Tong here, and welcome to the Apple Bits for everything good and bad inside the world of Apple. The iPad Pro Magic Keyboard reviews, they're out now. Some people in Asia got them even before reviewers did, but I'm still waiting for mine to arrive this week. But you know what? Just hold on to your butts. I want it to, so my review will drop once I get it. But at least Apple made this commercial with a CG hummingbird that has nothing to do with the Magic Keyboard.
I'm gonna buy a drink while I wait.
All right, let's get to the big stories this week. And you're going to keep hearing Jon Prosser's name a lot moving forward with these leaks because we talked about the iPhone 12 Pro Max schematics last time, and there was this uncertainty if the notch will actually get smaller or notch. Prosser then dropped new schematics of what's believed to be an unreleased iPhone 12 that shows what we've been wanting, a smaller notch. Now you can see how Apple has brought everything closer together with the True Depth camera's ambient light and proximity sensor pretty much centered. The other big change is the speaker grill is now above the camera system and integrated within the actual bezel of the iPhone. The microphone hole isn't pictured here, but Prosser says it's next to the speaker in the bezel, but wasn't labeled to emphasize the other hardware. And we had earlier images of a smaller bezel a few weeks ago, but nothing even remotely this detailed with this brand new layout for the iPhone 12. Now, reports from Ming-Chi Kuo as far back as last year claimed the notch and True Depth system would get smaller this year, and then the model of the iPhone would completely remove the notch the following year. And you know what? This makes me happy. If this is actually happening, that's a good Apple. Hey, sometimes it's about the first world problems in life that make us happy. Now, Prosser also wanted to jump in and crush any people's hopes or dreams that an iPhone 12 model could come with some kind of Apple Pencil support this year. He said there's no smart connector on iPhone 12 and definitely no pencil support. So that was squashed pretty fast. And we know that the new iPhone SE will be arriving this Friday, April 24th for many people. I've got mine on pre-order, the black and red, the bread. So, I'll be doing a review. But I was just on Renee Ritchie's podcast and we had this great talk about it. So here's an excerpt where we talked about deciding between the iPhone SE and the iPhone 12 this year.
We're living in a year now where we just got the new iPhone SE and it is $399 for, yes, it looks like an iPhone 8, but it's got iPhone 11 processors in it. And coincidentally, a day after OnePlus, which used to be the bargain basement king, came up with their most expensive phones ever. Yet at the same time, we're expecting the iPhone 12 towards the end of the year, maybe September, maybe October, and it might be the most expensive iPhone ever because Apple's already at the top of that $1,000 price point, and now they're adding a LiDAR camera to it, probably 5G to it, probably. So what do you think of Apple's lineup now, and how should customers think about it when the range is so vast?
So, obviously the pieces have been kind of put in place by Tim Cook from years ago when we started seeing literally 5 iPhones available, from a high-end model to a model from, say, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So for me, at least, and you and I, right, when we cover this stuff, we are kind of in a bubble, so we're used to things sometimes that people may not be used to. So for me, though, seeing how they're doing this whole pricing thing, the number one thing that I asked people in my video was, let me know, do you care about the SE? Are you going to pass or not? And you start seeing, at least with the tech savvy, the people that follow this on a day-to-day, there's 2 camps. There's really the people that are like, I'm only going to get the high-end model, right? And there's other people that are still tech fans, but look, we have to consider, that's what sometimes people forget. We got to consider budgets here. Not everyone is going to buy the most expensive phone every year. I have a huge verbal group that was really verbal about I'm getting the $399 iPhone. And then when I think of outside of these lines, not in the tech world, but the general consumer, my mom, my nieces, my nephews, my brother, his kids, that $399 iPhone for a family is ridiculous. They're not going to get the high end. No, my niece just got an iPhone 11 a year ago. If this had come out, this $399 iPhone had come out a year ago, they would have gotten her the $399 iPhone. They really would have, because this is, yes, an 8 body. I know how we always have to disclaimer that, and we're used to that because everyone jumps on it. It's like, this is not a great iPhone. We're not saying this is the greatest iPhone. This is the smartest, arguably the smartest iPhone they've put out, and it just so happens to come at a time like no other. Another comment we get is Android phones. Oh, you could get a better Android phone for $399. I'm going to argue feature-wise, you might, but that A13 in a $399 phone,
Yeah.
How many years is that going to last someone? How many years is that going to last a family member? There is part of spreading these costs over time and the value it gives you that $399 phone is a beast. I just, quite honestly, I would have never thought Apple would have done something like that, but they were already planting the seeds. But the fact that they finally did it, I know if you saw my video, I said this is not going to be Apple's best-selling phone. This is going to be the best-selling phone of the year. I'm going to stick to that, although it's a hot take and it's early. So to me, it's really smart. And you know what? They know and they look at the data. The high-end people that want that Supreme phone or the aspirational phone, they're going to get it if they want it. But now they've got a phone that is hard for me to not recommend to anyone that asks me what phone should I get, because when I ask them what do they do with your phone, because that's the number one question I ask back, what do you want to do with your phone, that $399 phone is going to pretty much do everything they want unless they want the high-end camera features. Thanks so much to Renee for having me on. You know, he's been on my Apple Bits XL audio podcast, and he just recently went independent, so check out his YouTube channel for more of his great content. He's a great guy. All right, the iPhone SE is out this week, but there's been more than a few of you who said in the comments that I would get an iPhone SE if they made one with a larger screen. Well, Apple's been like reading your minds, because a report from Ming-Chi Kuo claimed earlier that Apple is working on an iPhone SE Plus with a target release for the first half of 2021. He now says Apple will likely postpone the new model until later in 2021. And this iPhone SE Plus is expected to have either a 5.5-inch or 6.1-inch display with a full screen design similar to the iPhone 11, but it won't have Face ID and will instead integrate Touch ID into the power button on the right side of the device. And we've seen this tech on Android phones, but this will also allow for a smaller forehead on the top of the phone for a larger screen. And really, this iPhone SE Plus is going to be its own thing, and it'll be easily priced higher than the current SE, but that's what they're planning to do according to Kuo. Now, we're going to jump around here a little bit, and you know that I've been excited about the Magic Keyboard and the iPad Pro until I'm not. Review incoming. But John Prosser dropped another nugget this week that could be a game changer for the iPad. According to him, Xcode is present in iOS 14 and iPad OS 14. So developers are either going to love or hate this, because Xcode is the group of software tools that allows them to develop software for the Mac, iOS devices, tvOS devices, and more. That means if Xcode is now on iOS and iPad OS 14, it opens up the potential for pro apps to finally come to the iPad. You know those pro apps that I've been screaming about for Apple to bring over to the iPad, like Final Cut Pro or Logic Pro and others. And this doesn't mean it's going to happen right away, and this isn't an easy overnight conversion. The apps likely won't be exactly the same, and the reality is that the iPad Pro probably needs to support more than 8 gigs of RAM to really run those apps like they need to be. And yes, I do know about LumaFusion, but I've been saying it from day 1 to year 4.5 of its life. It's about damn time that we get Apple Pro apps on the iPad Pro. Now, if it is a full version of Xcode for iPad, we're definitely going to be hearing about it at WWDC this year. Okay, new AirPods are ready to launch next month, according to multiple reports. It's still unclear exactly which model they will be, but rumors floating around believe it'll be AirPods designed like the current Pros that have no active noise cancellation. Others say it's just kind of a cheaper model of the current AirPods, call them AirPods 3. They could also end up launching alongside the rumored 13-inch MacBook Pro refresh that we've been expecting, according to John Prosser. But this won't be their only audio product this year. We've heard rumors for their Apple over-the-ear headphones being released sometime around WWDC, and then their workout Beats X-like product called AirPods X for sometime in the fall. And if you're looking for more new product news for this year, a China Times report says that Apple is planning to introduce a new 23-inch iMac with mass production expected to start in the third or fourth quarter of this year. Now, the smaller iMac currently has a 21.5-inch screen, and they would be able to increase its size just by basically reducing the thickness of its bezels to just give us more screen real estate. The report says this will be one of several lower-priced products that Apple is introducing this year alongside of the iPhone SE. You see a theme here, and they're also reporting that a new 11-inch iPad Air with a mini LED screen will release at the end of 2021. But then it kind of gets a little foggy when they're claiming it'll have Touch ID embedded into the display for a near full screen notchless design.
they haven't even put mini LED or an in-display fingerprint scanner on the iPad Pro, so it just kind of seems odd that it would be coming to the iPad Air first and not the Pro, or maybe it could just be getting confused with the next iPad Pro. That's why these are rumor reports. So now, mass production of mini LED products for Apple could also be delayed until 2021, according to the reports. And before we go, if you like celebrating birthdays, the Apple Watch, this bad boy, my friend, is celebrating its 5th year. It started, as a device that was kind of figuring itself out. It was uncertain, but now it's the best smartwatch with just so much more potential to grow. It's one of my favorite Apple products. And to celebrate Apple's offering, the Series 5 is now refurbished for $60 to $80 off. They're not really celebrating it that way, but hey, they did put them up there. So I love this thing. I even have the Steel Link bracelet from the very first one 5 years ago, and it's still holding up just fine. And yeah, honestly, it better for how much I bought it for. All right, that's going to do it for now, everybody. If you like this video, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my videos when they drop in. If you want more of that Apple goodness, you want to dive in deep, you got to check out my Apple Bits XL audio podcast, where we go even deeper with these stories and more with special guests. Plus, I'd love your support. Patreon.com/Brian Tong is how you do it. All my work is independent, and it supports the podcast and just everything I do. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Take care, be safe, and we'll see you soon, all right? See you!